welcome to the Empathy Day Festival. We are so excited to spark empathy with you. I'm Ashley Hickson-Lovence, the author of Wild East.
And I'm Sarah Hagger-Holt, the author of The Fights That Make Us. When I'm not writing, I work in a library, and I also work with young people to help them take action to combat climate change. And, when I'm not writing as well, I like to hang out with my kids and my pet rabbits.
I'm a poet, I'm a novelist. I teach all ages from primary school up to university creative writing, and I'm also a football referee.
If you jump into my story, you'll meet 12-year-old Jessie as they discover things about their family that they didn't know before. They discover an old diary while looking in a relative's attic. And what Jessie finds in there encourages them to stand up for their own rights and to take action for LGBT equality in their own life. So Jessie's someone who solves a mystery. There's someone who's curious about the world around them and really kind of wants to understand people. And there's someone who's a really tenacious, determined, loyal friend, and someone who sometimes is quite shy, is quite held back, but when they really care about something, they're really going to go for it. And what I really loved about creating this story was getting to know Jessie as they developed, but also exploring perhaps some of the differences between life today in 2025 and what life might have been like 35 years ago for someone like Jessie who identifies as LGBTQ+, but who ultimately is able to draw inspiration from their history, their family, from things they discover, and from making friendships across different generations. So yeah, when you jump into The Fights That Make Us, hopefully you'll find something that feels real for what's happening now, learn something about what's happened in the past, and also take inspiration from that to think about how all of us can change the future.
That sounds amazing and so powerful. Blow me away.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about your book, though.
Yeah. So if you jump into my story, you'll meet Ronnie, and Ronnie is my main character, who is 14 years old,
Mm-hmm.
and he's gone through a very difficult situation in the very opening chapter of Wild East. In quite dramatic circumstances, he loses his best friend on a bus in London. And unfortunately, that's sort of based on a true story. A lot of my writing is based on things that have really happened to me. And when I was in school, I lost a friend in very similar circumstances. So what I've done is I've used the power of writing from lived experience to create this character, Ronnie, who goes through something similar. And it's quite traumatic. And his mum decides it's too dangerous for him to still live in North London, and they're going to move to somewhere safer, smaller, quieter, and they move to East Anglia. And during that time, Ronnie has to grow and find himself and try to fit in as a young black boy with a growing afro and try and make friends, try and find his tribe, and try and get people to understand where he's coming from. And it's never it's never quite plain sailing. He meets the local bully. He's asked to sell things that he doesn't want to sell. He's asked to go to places that he doesn't want to go. But Ronnie is resilient. He perseveres, and through the power of creative writing and music and poetry, he slowly starts to find his feet. I used music and rap and fantastic source material by wonderful poets we have here in the UK to try and create a thrilling and fast-paced read that hopefully young people can resonate with. So yeah, hopefully if you jump into my story, you'll meet a character called Ronnie who is on a journey to be accepted.
I love that you've been able to draw on your own experiences to do that as well, but it doesn't kind of stop there either. So it sounds like you've been kind of drawing on all kinds of other people's perspectives and different poetry and different music to kind of create a bit of a kind of patchwork of all those different experiences.
Yeah, I like to use real events and obviously change them around. That's the great thing about being a writer, the power of creative license. But I use real events as a bedrock. But then, as you say, you then sort of use that to then bring other things into the story. I mean, Ronnie grew as a character so much that started off quite autobiographical, but then Ronnie's definitely his own character on his own journey to be loved, to be accepted in a sort of in an area which is unfamiliar with young black boys who are from London originally. So yeah, it was definitely an adventure for me writing him because
Yeah.
like any good character, he took on a life of his own.
Are you going to read us a little bit?
Should I?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Well, I mentioned the opening, so I'll just read a little bit from the opening, and this is the sort of the scene that starts it all off. Really, it's the only scene set in London. The rest of the book takes place predominantly in East Anglia, but with a little bit in Shropshire as well. And Ronnie and his best friend Maz, they're on the bus. They're on a bus coming from school. There are some boys at the very back of this bus who they don't know that are starting trouble for no reason. And Ronnie and Maz, they don't want anything to do with those boys. They just want to keep their head down. They've just been joking and taking the mick out of teachers and stuff. But the boys at the very back, they sort of have this motive, this vendetta for no reason. And these boys at the back are looking at Ronnie, my main character, and his best friend Maz. They're looking and looking with a glance as sharp as a broken shard of glass. His dark eyes slicing souls open with crystal clear precision. On the top deck of this 43 bus, we become targets locked in his vision. What are you looking at? He says. His words are all jagged and pointy, loaded like a strap and hanging heavy, weighty enough for every other passenger to hear. We didn't know that we were looking at them. Not really. Maz and I. No more than a little peep if we were. We certainly didn't mean to cause offence. We've just been chilling in all honesty, chatting and joking around, doing stupid impressions of our teachers and stuff, but this guy at the back is getting all riled up. Oi, did you not hear me? He says louder than before, his voice is all strained and spiky. What are you looking at? He seems to be addressing me now only. He sat with this other guy, quieter but looks just as menacing. They're both like 16, 17, 18 at a stretch maybe. Either way, just a few years older than us, but unlike Maz and me, they're not in school uniform. I think they've got it twisted because I know that I've never seen either of them before. You see, where I come from, you remember every spot, scratch, or scar of someone's face, so this must be a case of mistaken identity. It has to be. The two of them sit sprawled across the 5 seats at the back, and we're sat half turned to them. Maz is on one side of the aisle, me on the other, just a few rows in front on the top deck of this double-decker bus. The current scene of this unprovoked but not totally unexpected verbal attack. You see, when you live in North London, you can't ever let your guard down just like that. Me and Maz, best friends since year 7, same form class, school football team. We always got this bus together home every day from our school, up in Archway, past Holloway in Highbury, along City Road, through Islington and into Hackney. You see, Maz, right? He is mad good at art. He wants to do it next year for GCSE. He's a guaranteed grade 9, easily one of the best in the year, maybe even the whole school. He's good at doing realistic portraits of people and landscapes of the city. But this picture here is not looking pretty.
Oh my God. And like now you've stopped, and obviously you've given us a sort of hint of what's going to happen, but just that feeling of like, it's so ordinary in a way, like that's school, that's life, that's friendship. And yet, yeah, you've got this sort of feeling of like, oh Lord, what's gonna happen next for these boys?
Absolutely. It's one of those things that I knew when it happened a long time ago when I was a teenager, a long time ago, that I knew that one day I wanted to write about it and I wanted to sort of write about what it feels like to just be on a bus home, right? Which is, we all do that. We'll get on the bus or the train home, or, we're on our way home from school and it just starts to turn quickly, and I wanted to really try and capture how it can just escalate. So yeah, no, it took some time to really get that right and think about the lens I was going to write in and stuff. But yeah, that's the prologue of Wild East. Sarah, we'd love to hear a little bit of your work. It sounds so powerful, so important. The characters, the themes. I would love to hear a little bit if that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm going to read a bit actually, which has also got a couple of best friends. So it's all told from Jessie's perspective. I should say Jessie's non-binary. So when I talk about them, I'll be using they and them pronouns. And Jessie's best friend is Simran. And Jessie has just discovered this diary in her mum's cousin's attic. They've very sadly, her mum's cousin Lisa has died. And this is the first that Jessie has heard about her. So they realise there's something in their family that nobody talks about, and they want to find out what this is. And they're able to go up into the attic after the funeral and find the diary and some other things and bring those home. And this is them having a look, Jessie and Simran, at what they found. When Lisa's friend said memento, I imagined something like, I don't know, an ornament or a piece of jewellery, not an old cardboard box, says Mum. You don't mind, do you? I ask. It was okay to ask if I could have it. Suddenly I'm not sure. What if I've been rude without meaning to? All I know is that rescuing that box out of the attic felt like the right thing to do. Lisa's friends had seemed fine about me taking it. They even said how pleased they were that someone in Lisa's family was finally interested in her life. I didn't specifically mention the diary to them, or to Mum, or to my best friend Simran. I just said it was some old books and papers and clothes. I don't know why I didn't say. It just seemed more respectful to Lisa somehow. Of course it's okay, smiles Mum. I hope you find something interesting in there. Now, I'm washed out. I'm going to lie down a bit, and then how about the three of us go out and get something to eat? She does look tired. Maybe it's the journey down to London for the funeral and meeting all the new people. And Lisa was her cousin, even if Mum hadn't seen her for years and years. And she died so young, only a little bit older than Mum. It must feel strange for her, knowing she'll never have the chance to see Lisa again. Once Mum's gone, I tip the contents of the box out onto my bed. Clouds of dust fly up and Simran starts sneezing. There's a denim jacket with badges on, some Doc Marten boots, obviously what Simran's most interested in, some ancient-looking magazines and leaflets, a biscuit tin stuffed with tickets and notes, a cassette tape, and loads more. This T-shirt looks a right mess, says Simran, wrinkling up her nose at an enormous T-shirt with a wobbly upside-down pink triangle in the centre. But look at those boots. Proper vintage. I bet they're your size, Jessie. Go on, try them on. The boots are awesome. They're dark blue and well worn with doodles in biro on the soles, and they're beautiful. Lisa must have worn these all the time. I loosen the frayed laces and slide my feet in. It feels a bit wrong. I mean, they're not mine, but it feels right too. These boots feel like they were made for me. What's this? Asked Simran, opening the cassette tape. A list of songs fall out. It's not in Lisa's spiky writing, but in curlier writing with hearts instead of the dots on the eyes. I wonder if this writing belongs to Nikki, the girl in the photo, Lisa's maybe girlfriend? I'd love to listen to it, but I don't know how. I think it's a mixtape, a real one, I mean, not a playlist. I bet the last time someone listened to this was before we were even born. Anyway, there's something I want to show you in Lisa's diary. And that's where I'm going to leave it.
Ooh. I like the way that you've kept us that suspense right to the very end there, ending with the that reveal that you don't reveal to us very cheekily.
Yeah, not today. But there's something quite fun as well about thinking when you're writing, you get a chance to sort of draw little pictures of things. So I thought really carefully about all those different like objects, because we've all got like special things, whether it's like a pair of shoes or a jacket or a book or a some music that like suddenly opens up loads of memories and experiences to us. So thinking, okay, what are those things where, everyone's got them, they're all different. You look at it and or it's a smell, or it's something comes on the radio and you're like, oh yeah, I'm back in that time again. So it was quite fun, like thinking, yeah, what are those special things that then spark stories and get you thinking.
Have you got a pair of Dr. Martens, a favourite pair?
I have actually. Those are ever so slightly autobiographical, those boots.
I love a good pair of Dr. I've got quite a few myself, so that ring true. No, it's brilliant, and sort of like a treasure trove and stuff. I just look forward to reading, and I saw everybody watching look forward to reading the rest of it too.
Fantastic, thank you.
Now it's time for us to take on an empathy challenge, and this one is an empathy chat, an activity which will help you use questions to help to get to know each other better.
And it's powerful stuff because asking questions and listening to the answers is the first step in becoming an empathy activist. It's something that all of us can do every day that changes the world around us, in our schools, at home, among our friends. So I'm really looking forward to getting started on some of these questions.
Oh, I love the sound of that, activist. And the reason why we're doing this is to develop your empathy skills, and particularly your skills of listening and perspective taking, walking in somebody else's shoes. For Empathy Chat, young people have created some questions to help you get to know someone that you might not know that well yet. I'm going to kick things off by asking Sarah a question to get to
Okay.
know her a little bit more. And the first question that I'm going to ask her is this: Sarah, what does the word friend mean to you?
Oh, I think for me, there's something about your friends are people who um, are going to show up for you. So when that you know that if you're going through a difficult time, that you can call them or you can speak to them or you can spend time with them, and at the end of that time they will help you feel better. And it doesn't have to be like any kind of like grand gestures. Often it's just like, I know I'll turn to my friends when I just need like to vent about something or I just need cheering up. My best friend now lives on the other side of the world. We've known each other for years and years and years, but I know that I can always just like send her a message or pick up the phone, and there'll be somebody there who can kind of who can listen to me, even if she's not physically here. To listen and to spend time together that way is really important.
That's such a lovely answer. That's the best answer. Sarah, I'm glad that we are now friends because that's
Yeah. I'll be ringing you up going, Ashley, I've got
yeah,
this
exactly.
problem. What are you going to do about it? But I think it is sort of definitely, you know, the friends. It's great kind of meeting new people, but also it's good to have, there's like, I don't know, I think it's something like my mum says or whatever. It's like this idea that like new friends are like silver, but old friends are like gold. Things are going on in your life. Sometimes you also want to go back to those old friends and like remember those connections. But at the same time, the joy of like making new friends is really important as well. Is now my chance to ask you a question?
Let's go for it. Let's do it.
Okay, let's see. I wonder, let me think. If you had one wish for the world, what would it be and why?
That is a good question. One wish for the world, and what would it be and why? I think it'd be to listen to our young people more and the way that young people see the world. They view it, they critique it. An important voice for the way the world is going to be run and should be run, and also the state of our planet in so many ways. So I think we need to listen to our young people more. You know, they are the voice of the next generation, and I think they have so much value and worth in how they see the world. And I think we don't always listen as adults. Yeah, we try our best in our works to to create characters, to create young characters who are you know resilient and whatnot. But I think we need to listen to our young people more.
Yeah, I think that's a really good one because you can kind of see how then that can spiral because by kind of listening and taking seriously what when people have got to say, what they're worried about, how they want to see the world be different, or just like how they want to get on with their lives, then if you take that kind of thing seriously, if governments took that
Mm.
seriously, if schools took that seriously, if like all of us did that, like actually that could be totally transformative. So yeah, I'm sort of with you on your like young people of the future thing, but I think actually like young people of the now, like we're and for me those kind of yeah, if we're able to sort of listen to each other, then actually that's a real spark, isn't it? That's a real catalyst.
Absolutely, yeah. Um, so true, so true. Young people are the now. We need that as a strap line somewhere. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's. I'm gonna ask you another question because obviously this is the activity, so empathy chat. So let's move on to the next question if that's okay.
Okay.
Is there a book character that you empathize with? Who is it and why?
I read a fantastic book recently. Like, it's like when people ask you what your favorite book is, and you're like, well, there's this book and this book and this book and this book. But recently I read a book called Fallout by Leslie Parr, which is, and the main character in that is this kid, Marcus. He's always getting into trouble. And he stumbles into a sort of anti-nuclear protest in the 1980s. And makes two friends, one of whom is a campaigner. She's the same age as him, a girl called Emma, and one of whom is his neighbor, who's building this like state of the art, he's in his 60s or so, this like state of the art nuclear bunker in his garden. And I think, like, for me, I read this book and I'm like, I want to be like Emma, the campaigner, and the one who's really hopeful and wants to kind of change the world. And I really empathized with her. And I also empathized a little bit with Mick, the one who's like, oh, this is all really hard, I'm just gonna like hide away and hope that things get better. And so for me it was like, oh, actually recognizing these two different sides of myself in these two characters.
Oh, I'm gonna take it out. I've seen it around and I've seen the cover and I can
Yeah.
it, but I've not read it yet. But it sounds brilliant. And the fact that you can empathize with more than a couple of the main, a couple of characters, like it's not just the main character. I think that's, a really great sign that, the author has done some incredible in characterization there to make characters feel three-dimensional, right? Right, it's your turn. Teachers, pause the film and split your group into pairs and try out what we've just done, and then come back.
Welcome back, everyone. How did that go? Did you feel like you were really listened to? And how was it listening with all your attention to somebody else? We hope you learned some really interesting things about each other, but also just took the chance to see the world through someone else's eyes.
And now that you've explored perspective taking this way, think about what you might do differently in your everyday life by imagining you're jumping into a real person's story. There are 8 more creative empathy challenge activities to try. Check them out at empathylab.uk. Teachers, we'd love to see photos or videos of your great work online. So please share them tagging at empathylabuk, hashtag Empathy Day Festival.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. We hope you've had a fantastic time. We have as well. And it's goodbye for now. See you soon. Bye.